Sometimes love doesn't arrive with noise or urgency. It arrives softly. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand attention. It simply exists, quietly hoping you'll feel it. Some people love in silence, trusting that their presence will speak louder than words. Not every heart knows how to confess out loud. Some confess through care, through consistency, through the smallest details. You might assume they feel nothing at all, yet their eyes tell a different story, even when their lips stay still. Love isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's gentle, patient, tucked between ordinary moments. You may not realize it, but someone could already love you far more deeply than you imagine. Have you ever sensed someone's care without them ever saying it? They never confess. They never say, "I love you." They never make it obvious. But there's something in the way they look at you, the way they listen when you speak, the way they notice parts of you others overlook. Maybe it's how they remember the words you say casually, how their smile appears the moment you walk into the room, how their expression softens whenever they talk to you. Maybe it's the strange sense of safety you feel around them, as if your heart understands something your mind hasn't accepted yet. Love doesn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives quietly, hoping you'll notice. Here are 7 silent signs that someone is already in love with you, even though most people miss them. Sign 1. They look at you when you're not aware. Have you ever caught them watching you, only for them to quickly look away the second you notice? That wasn't accidental. That was emotion trying to stay hidden. They admire you quietly. The way you talk, the way you laugh, the way you move, even the way you drift into thought. They notice details others miss. They memorize your expressions, your habits, the little gestures that bring you comfort. And no matter how normal they try to act, their eyes give them away every time. Sometimes love doesn't reach out. It simply watches. They may sit close without saying much. They may linger when conversations end. They won't confess, but their gaze carries a softness, a warmth that's hard to ignore. As if their eyes are whispering what their heart is too, afraid to say. And when you leave the room, they look again, just a little longer, hoping you might turn back. Not to catch them, but to notice them. Because the person who looks at you when you don't know it often loves you more than the one who looks when you expect it. Sign 2. They remember the smallest details about you. Love hides in the details most people forget. Maybe you mentioned a favorite snack once, a childhood memory, a song you listen to when you're sad, and weeks later, without any reminder, they bring it up. You pause for a second and think, how did they remember that? Because when someone loves you quietly, nothing about you feels unimportant. Your words don't pass through them casually. They hold onto them like something precious. They remember the sound of your voice when you're excited, the silence when you're hurting, the way your eyes change when you speak honestly. They notice the smallest shift in your mood. They sense when you're pretending to be okay. They reach out at the exact moment you needed someone. They show up in ways others don't. This isn't coincidence. It's affection wearing a disguise. Quiet love listens deeply, gently, without expecting recognition. It simply hopes that one day you'll realize how deeply you've been cherished. Sign 3. They try not to show they care, but they still do. Some love hides because it's afraid of rejection, afraid of ruining what already exists, afraid of losing you. So instead of confessing, they act in small ways, subtle gestures that speak louder than words. They say, "I was just checking," but they checked because they were worried. They offer help casually, but only because your happiness matters more than they admit. They say they were just nearby, but deep down they hoped they'd see you. Their heart insists on caring, even when their mind tries to hide it. Sometimes they pull back just to see if you'll pull them closer. Sometimes they joke to mask feelings that run deeper than they want to reveal. They act calm, but quietly hurt when you talk about someone else. Their love isn't weak, it's shy. And if you've ever wondered, do they like me, or am I imagining it? Look closely. Love often whispers instead of announcing itself. Sign 4. They feel jealous, but they hide it. They never say it out loud. They never tell you who not to talk to. But when they see you laughing with someone else, something inside them tightens. They smile, but their eyes change. Softer, dimmer, more distant. Not because they don't trust you, but because they love you quietly and fear losing you loudly. When your attention shifts, they grow quieter, more observant. They listen carefully, wait patiently, hope you'll return to them. They pretend it doesn't matter, but it does, because jealousy isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a slow breath, a long blink, a silent ache that says, "You matter more to me than I can say." Sign 5. They show up when you need someone most. You don't have to ask. They're just there. A late night message when you're falling apart. A simple, "Are you okay?" on the day you needed it most. They may not love loudly, but they stay when things feel heavy. They check in when you go quiet. They listen when you speak, and listen even more when you don't. They don't try to fix everything. They just make sure you're not alone. Silent love doesn't shout. It stands beside you and says, "I'm here." If someone stays when it's dark, when it's quiet, when it's uncomfortable, that isn't coincidence. That's love. Sign 6. They notice your changes before you say anything. You don't explain. They already feel it. A slower reply, a different laugh, less energy, and they ask, "Are you okay?" Because someone who loves you quietly reads your heart, not just your words. They notice when you're tired, even when you say you're fine. They see when your smile fades, even when you hide it. It's as if their heart is tuned to yours. Love doesn't always need explanations. Sometimes it simply understands. Sign 7. They imagine a future with you, casually. They don't confess it directly, but it slips out. Someday we should go there together. You'd love living somewhere like that. We'd probably laugh the whole time. Small sentences, soft hints, a future wrapped in ordinary words. People don't imagine tomorrow with someone they don't care about. If they speak of someday with you in it, you already live somewhere in their heart. Love isn't always loud. Sometimes it lives in glances, details, quiet jealousy, and gentle presence. And if someone came to your mind while listening to this, a name, a face, a feeling, that wasn't random. Your heart recognized something. Before you scroll away, leave a comment, even just an initial. Let your heart speak quietly, because someone, somewhere, might be silently waiting for